thought we knew the president's re-election plan, namely staying in the White House as much as possible. Thus, he could run for re-election like he ran for election in 2020 from his basement. There he could be everything to everyone and nothing. It was the perfect anti-Trump campaign. But two things appear to be changing. First, he's tacking hard to the left on culture war issues. Today, he proposed a massive change to Title IX. No school or college that receives federal funding would be allowed to impose a universal policy banning trans athletes from playing on sports teams consistent with their gender identity. Bans allowed if it serves, quote, important educational objectives such as fairness in competition and reduction of injury risks. Those limits must consider the sport, level of competition, and age of students. Secondly, he faces even worse numbers on the economy. New CNN poll shows 50% of Americans say they are worse off financially than a year ago. 17%, just 17% say better. Love to meet those folks. And 33% say about the same. Lauren Wright's here, professor at Princeton University. Niall Stanage, White House columnist for our partners at The Hill. Good to see you both. Niall, first, give us the strategy on tacking hard to the left on the culture war.
Well, I mean, I think on that trans issue, the left doesn't think he's tacked hard to the left. I mean, the caveats in this rule have attracted quite a lot of criticism from people who are unquestionably on the left, noticeably Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But look, I think your bigger question, Leland, goes to the point that the president needs to appeal to his base. He needs to have those voters revved up to some extent, even as he seeks out the middle ground. So you can't, in the politics of 2023 or 2024, neglect either one of those imperatives to appeal to your base voters, but to try to reach out to the middle in other ways. Yeah.
Lauren, we think about the GOP's headache since 2020. Trump's loss, January 6th, post-election impeachment, January 6th committee, 2022 midterms, which were a disaster, 14 speaker ballots. Disney totally embarrassed Ron DeSantis last week. And finally, the president being arrested and in court. Is there a danger to the White House to playing things too safe, if you will, a la Hillary Clinton thought she could beat Trump, and perhaps the White House and President Biden's team would think any Republican was just without hope?
I mean, she barely went to Wisconsin. I think there were some fundamental issues with Hillary Clinton's campaign, and Trump was more of an unknown. But you're right. I mean, Trump is the elephant in the room. He's a huge problem for the GOP. And 2022 is the very best example of this. I mean, look at the conditions that Republicans had handed to them on a silver platter heading into the midterms. 40-year inflation highs, 20-year highs in border crossings, surging crimes in most major cities. Those are conditions that should have made Republicans in a sweeping winning position.
But
they had no answers to those questions except for Herschel Walker and Dr. Oz and Trump complaining about his own presidential race. And if they do that again, they will have similar problems. Joe Biden's approval rating is exactly where Trump's was this time in 2019. And it's pretty surprising considering the economic conditions that you're talking about.
Yeah, I would add Kerry Lake. We can go down a list. The fella in New Hampshire as well who ran for Senate. But look, Niall, there's a danger here, right? And President Obama figured that out in 2016 when he weighed in on the bathroom bills. Take a listen.
Laws that have been passed there are wrong and should be overturned, and they're in response to politics in part some strong emotions that are generated by people, some of whom are good people, but I just disagree with when it comes to respecting the equal rights of all people, regardless of sexual orientation.
This was the North Carolina bills about transgender bathrooms. In the end, it was the culture war that got to Democrats in 2016 and Hillary Clinton. Is there any understanding by the White House, maybe they think they have polling shows otherwise, that they need to be worried about this?
I think there is certainly a need to not appear out of step with the country at large.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.